The next few weeks felt like I was living inside someone else's life, a better one. When I found out about Ethan's student loans, I didn't even think twice. I just paid them off. It felt good, almost too good, to be able to do something like that for him. For his birthday, I got him a new Audi. Nothing too flashy, but nicer than mine. The way he looked at me when he saw it, like I had given him something he never thought he deserved. I still remember how he pulled me in and didn't say anything for a long time. He just held me. Then came the startup.
He told me about his idea one night, lying on my couch, talking about how close he was, how he just needed one real push to get it off the ground. I didn't hesitate. I transferred the money the next morning. A big amount, enough to actually make it real. Every time I did something like that, he would look at me differently. Softer, like I was the only solid thing in his life. He'd hold my face with both hands when he kissed me, like he was afraid I might disappear. He kept saying things like, "I don't know what I did to deserve you," and "No one's ever believed in me like this." And for a while, I believed it too. I started imagining things I had never let myself imagine before. A real future. Not just late-night talks and beach days, but something solid. A life we were building together. For the first time, I wasn't just in love with him. I was in love with the version of myself that existed next to him. It felt safe. It felt right. It felt like everything I had been waiting for was finally happening.
A few days later, Sarah and I were sitting at a cafe. She suddenly leaned in closer and said quietly, so only I could hear, "Lena, there's something I've been wanting to tell you for a few days. I don't know if it's important or not." I looked at her. "What is it?" Sarah hesitated for a second, then said, "A few days ago, I saw Ethan in Woodland Hills. He was sitting at a cafe with an older woman. They were talking very seriously. I think it was his mom." I stared at her for a moment and said, "No, his mom has been living in Europe for like 15 years. She's not here." Sarah shrugged and said, "Oh, then maybe it was one of his startup clients." I nodded slowly. "Yeah, probably." After that, neither of us said anything else. But from that moment, something cold settled in my chest. A small, uneasy feeling that wouldn't go away. That small doubt had burrowed itself so deep inside me, like some kind of parasite. Every day it grew a little stronger, eating away at me more and more. I couldn't ignore it anymore. I stayed up for nights in a row, just staring at the ceiling. Every time Ethan was asleep next to me, I'd look at him and think, "This is the guy you're in love with. So why the hell are you doing this?" But I couldn't stop myself. Eventually, I made up my mind. I bought a small GPS tracker. My hands were shaking so badly while I was trying to install it under his car. I felt like I was betraying the only person I actually loved. A couple of times I almost stopped and walked away, but I couldn't. A few days later, I checked his routes. Every single day, between work and home, he would stop for exactly 15 minutes at the same place, a storage facility near his office. I went there. My heart was pounding so hard I could barely breathe. I used some dumb excuse about forgetting the unit code and got inside. I walked down the hallway until I reached Unit 66. It was almost empty. There was just one gray metal box sitting in the corner. My hands were ice cold. I knelt down and opened it. Inside was an old phone and several printed photos of me. Photos that Ethan never had. Photos of me from years ago, back when I didn't even know him. For a second, the whole room started spinning. My hands went numb. I picked up the phone and tried to unlock it. There was only one number saved in it. With shaking hands, I called it. A few seconds of complete silence. Then a woman's voice answered. "Ethan?" I didn't say anything. She spoke again, sounding a little more concerned this time. "Ethan?" I hung up. That voice, it sounded familiar, but no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't figure out who it belonged to. I hung up immediately. My heart was pounding so hard it felt like it was about to burst out of my chest. For a few seconds, I just stood there frozen, leaning against the wall of the storage unit. That woman's voice kept echoing in my head. "Ethan?" My hands were shaking so badly that the phone slipped out of my grip and hit the concrete floor. I quickly bent down, picked it up, and rushed out of the unit without even closing the door properly. Once I got outside, I leaned against my car, trying to catch my breath. The air felt thin. My hands were still trembling. I gripped the phone tightly and stared at it. Why did that voice sound so familiar? Who was she? For the first time, I couldn't lie to myself anymore. I couldn't carry this weight alone anymore. My stomach was in knots, and it felt like an invisible hand was squeezing my throat. It was noon. I called Sarah right away and told her I needed to see her immediately. Half an hour later, I was in her office on campus. The second I closed the door behind me, she took one look at my face, and her expression changed. What happened? My voice was barely coming out. I told her everything. The GPS, the storage unit, the photos, the phone call, all of it. She didn't interrupt once. She just listened. When I finished, she stayed quiet for a few seconds. Then she asked calmly, "When was the first time you met Ethan?" My hands were shaking as I answered. "At the campus cafe." Sarah paused for a moment, like something had clicked in her head. She quickly sat down at her computer and said, "Let me check something." She first searched for Ethan's name along with his last name. Nothing came up. Then she uploaded his photo into reverse image search. A few seconds later, a new name appeared on the screen, Alexander Voss. Both of us froze, staring at the screen. Sarah spoke quietly. "That's him. His real name is Alexander Voss. He used to be an IT student here. He was expelled 3 years ago." Without wasting any time, she pulled up the university's security camera archives and asked, "Give me the exact date you first saw him." I told her the date. She loaded the footage from that day and fast-forwarded to the cafe camera. 3 hours before Ethan walked up to my table and asked if something was wrong, the footage showed him sitting at one of the main university servers, the same server that stored all the students' projects. Suddenly, the room started spinning. My ears were ringing. I grabbed the edge of the desk so I wouldn't fall. The guy who came to help me, the guy who sat with me for 3 hours and fixed my laptop, he was the same person who had deleted my files in the first place. From the very beginning, he had been destroying me, and I had fallen in love with him.